Hey y'all, today we are going to review how to solve two-step equations that deal with negative numbers, so adding, subtracting negative numbers, a lot of good guys and bad guys. So we'll get started with our first example. It's 5x minus 4 equals 19, or equals negative 19. So we know that when we're solving this, the first thing we need to do to each side is add 4. When I add 4 to this side, this becomes 0, or 5x plus 0. And 5x plus 0 is just the same thing as 5x. Now to keep it balanced, I need to do the same thing to the other side, so I added 4 to the right side. Now I need to be careful. I have negative 19 plus 4. This is where we really need to stop and always think about this. We need to see, am I adding two positives together, am I adding two negatives together, or am I adding a negative and a positive? In this case, I have a negative and a positive. And when I have negative 19 plus 4, I need to subtract the numbers. So 19 minus 4 is 15. And do I have more good guys, or are there more bad guys? There are more bad guys, so it's negative 15. 5x equals negative 15. Now I can divide each side by 5. This 5 divided by 5 gives me 1x, because I'm looking to solve for 1x. I do the same thing to the other side. Negative 15 divided by a positive 5 is going to be a negative 3. X equals negative 3. Next example. We have 3 times the quantity 2x plus 4 plus x equals negative 2. I should see that the first thing that I want to do is look in my parentheses. Are there any like terms that Are there any like terms that I can combine in my parentheses? No, there are not, so I want to go ahead and distribute. 3 times 2x gives me 6x. 3 times 4 is 12. A lot of people forget to distribute to this second number. Never forget to distribute to that second number. And last we have this plus x, and that equals negative 2. My next step would be to combine my like terms. 6x plus x. Well, if I just have plus x, that's the same thing as plus 1x. So 6x plus 1x is 7x, plus 12 equals negative 2. Now I need to subtract 12 from each side. Minus 12, minus 12. Again, this is where we really need to stop and pause. Always, 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 when you get to this side of your equation, stop, pause, and think about it. It will really save you from making silly mistakes. I have a negative 2 and a negative 12. They are both negative, so I'm going to end up adding them together. 2 plus 12 is 14. And they are both negative, so this is negative 14. 7x equals negative 14. Next thing I need to do to each side is divide by 7. Negative 14 divided by positive 7, and negative divided by a positive is a negative 2. This step here is also an important one, to see if it's a negative divided by a positive or a negative divided by a negative. A lot of people forget that negative sign, and then your answer is completely wrong. Last example, 4x plus 8 minus 6x equals 2. The first thing that I want to do is combine my like terms. I have 4 x's, and I want to be careful. Do I have 6 x's or negative 6 x's? I have negative 6x, so I have a positive 4x and a negative 6x. Am I going to add those numbers or subtract them? I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2x. And I see that there are more negatives than positives, so it's going to be a negative 2x. Negative 2x plus 8 equals 2. Next thing I want to do to each side is subtract 8. Again, this is where we really need to stop and pause. This is 2 minus 8. My 2 is positive, my 8 is negative. So will I add these numbers together, or will I subtract them? I need to subtract, so 8 minus 2 is 6. Are there more good guys or bad guys? There are more bad guys, so it's negative 6. I'm left with negative 2x equals negative 6. Now, some people have been doing it at this point, and they've been deciding right away if this is going to be positive or negative. If there is a negative on both sides, your answer is going to be positive. If there's a negative on one side and a positive on the other, then your answer will be negative. That's one trick you can do. You can also just go through the steps like normal. I want to divide each side by -2. -6 divided by -2. I know a negative divided by a negative makes a positive, so 6 divided by 2 is 3. X is equal to. You have the rest of your packet to work on independently, and we'll check it when we get up to the front. Good luck.